Today's day one of my 90-day cut challenge. Why am I doing this challenge? This story requires us to rewind back to when I graduated college and started working full-time. I really struggled with the transition from college to full-time work and working 40 hours a week. I would snooze my alarm, I would skip most of my workouts, I was constantly eating takeout and heavily processed foods because I was just so exhausted all the time. This made me feel really sluggish and really tired, and honestly I didn't feel like myself, and I did gain some fat. I gained quite a bit of fat. In 2022, I really focused on building muscle. I did a handful of different strength building programs. I did build so much muscle, and I feel stronger right now than I ever have felt in my entire life, and I'm so proud of that. So this year, I really wanted to shift my focus to start focusing on cardio, because although I feel really strong and powerful lifting weights, I can barely run a mile without stopping to walk. I just don't feel like my cardio is where I want it to be. Like, it's really cool that I'm able to lift heavy weights, but I also get winded walking up the stairs, and that's just not really where I want to be. During 2020, because all the gyms were closed, I started running in my neighborhood, and I got really into running, and I would be running 5Ks or more every single day, and it was really great for my mental health, and I loved having that kind of like mental fortitude to push through, keep running. So I absolutely loved that. And now I cannot do any of that. I can't tell you the last time I've run a 5K. I can't even tell you the last time I've run a mile. And I also have aesthetic goals. I do want to lose some fat, and I really don't think there's anything wrong with that. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, but for me, as long as I'm doing it in a sustainable and healthy way and putting my mental health first, as well as maintaining balance, I think aesthetic goals are totally fine. So let's talk about what is most important to me in this challenge. This whole plan that I put together for myself, which I will walk you through in a couple of minutes, is all science and evidence-based. I'm not gonna get into the science of it in this video. If you're interested in that, let me know, and I can make a separate video explaining the mechanisms and why I chose each thing that I did. But my number one priority in this challenge is sustainability. I only wanna do this once. I have yo-yo dieted so many times in my life. I'm over it. The fact that I've made this a 90-day challenge is more about just setting up the habits for myself and kind of getting into the motion to make a lifestyle shift, but I really do want this to be a lifestyle shift, and I'm not gonna do anything too crazy, too intense, or make changes that are too big for me to stick to for the rest of my life. The next most important thing is how I feel. I wanna feel energized during my workouts. I wanna feel focused and mentally clear during my workday. The next thing is how I move in the gym, both in strength training and in cardio. So I want to improve my cardio. That is my main goal, but at the same time, I want to maintain all of the muscle and the strength that I have built. So I'm gonna tell you exactly how I'm gonna do this, but yeah, really important for me to maintain my muscle while also improving my cardio and just the way that I'm able to move in the gym. Last but not least, it is important to me how I look. Like I said, I do have some aesthetic goals. Out of these 4 things though, how I look is the least important. I really care most about how I feel and my overall lifestyle and having something sustainable. If the aesthetic goals come later because I'm doing it in a more slow and sustainable way, that's totally fine with me. Let's talk about what I'm doing for the next 90 days. And just saying, part of the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm actually going to Europe with my family over the summer, and I want to be looking and feeling the best that I've ever looked and felt when I go on this vacation. I really love to be active when I'm on vacation, so I think building up my cardio fitness a little bit will help me to enjoy that vacation even more. Let's start with talking about training. I'm gonna be doing 4 to 5 sessions per week. I can adjust that 5th optional session depending on my schedule. I'm gonna be doing 3 strength training sessions per week, and my goal here is to preserve muscle mass. I'm not trying to gain any muscle mass, I'm not trying to gain any strength, I just wanna stay at the level I'm currently at. I'm gonna be making a couple of adjustments within these sessions compared to what I did previously. Previously, I would do normally like 4 to 5 purely strength-based exercises. I'm now gonna be splitting up. Half of my workout will be like the hypertrophy rep range, so like 8 to 12 rep range strength. And then I'm gonna be doing more dynamic, probably weighted, but not necessarily weighted, dynamic movements. So these movements are gonna get my heart rate up and kind of contribute to that cardio fitness goal, as well as they can burn a little bit more calories. I wanna really push myself with these dynamic, functional, athletic type movements. And normally I'm doing mostly strength training, not as many of these dynamic movements, so that will be a little bit of a shift. But the goal is to kind of split those sessions 50-50. I'm gonna be doing 1 or 2 strictly cardio sessions per week. This could be HIIT, this could be running. As the weather warms up, I really want to run and spend more time outside because it makes me feel so amazing to get some sunshine in. Concurrent training, resistance and cardio training has been proven to be really effective for losing fat while maintaining muscle, which is my goal. Next, let's talk about nutrition. So this is probably going to be super controversial, but I will not be counting calories in this challenge. There are a couple of reasons for that. Counting calories, whether I write my food down throughout the day and input it into a tracker at the end of the day, whether I input as I'm eating, as soon as I start tracking, I start reducing my food. And when I'm reducing what I eat, because I'm aware of tracking and I'm nervous about the numbers, I will tend to kind of restrict a little bit and then go a little bit crazy, and it just creates kind of an unhealthy cycle for me personally. I know so many people have great success with tracking. For me, it just doesn't work, and it also kind of brings me back into a place that is not great for my mental health. I did have some issues with really intensive calorie restriction back when I was younger, and I want to stay far, far away from that. So I know it'll be a little bit trickier to ensure that I'm in that deficit without tracking, but it's something I'm willing to do because it's so important for me to protect my mental health. And I know that calorie tracking, not only is it super time consuming, but it also is just tough on my mental health. So I am going to be tracking only one macro, and that is protein, and that is in an effort to help preserve muscle. I will put the calculation up here if you would like to calculate it for your body weight too. That is the ideal range to preserve muscle mass. My next goal is to eat more unprocessed foods, and this is kind of a really generic one, and it's not super measurable, which normally I like to set very measurable goals, but I also really want to be flexible with myself and maintain a sense of balance. So I don't want to have any rules. I'm not cutting out any food groups throughout this. I'm not cutting out any types of food, and I'm going to enjoy and celebrate if I have family in town or if I'm with friends. But this is just a loose goal because I really do look and feel my best. I've noticed when I'm eating more unprocessed foods like fruits, vegetables, grains, things like that, there's quite a bit of evidence that this is a good thing for you to do, to try and get some % of your daily caloric intake from less processed or unprocessed foods. My next goal is to meal prep or food prep every weekend. I have learned that if I do not do some preparation and I expect that every night after work in 8 hours, I am going to get into the kitchen and spend an hour cooking and cleaning this like fancy delicious meal, it just never happens. Even if I buy all of the ingredients for it, even if I plan it all out, I am just usually so exhausted by the end of the day, it just doesn't happen. Now, the other thing, if I have the same meal for 5 or 7 days in a row, I get so sick of it and I hate it. So I found a middle ground, which is food prep. I will prep my fruits, veggies, I'll chop them up, I'll cook some veggies and put them in a container. I'll cook some grains like pasta or farro or something, that's what I did this week, and have those ready to go. But then I mix and match and kind of combine them in unique ways for every single meal, and that prevents me from getting bored, but also I am able to prep it in advance so that it's a lot less work on the night of and a lot less dishes on the night of. This also just really helps me, like having fresh fruit and veggies chopped, cleaned, ready to go in the fridge helps me make healthier choices, and it's a lot easier for me to eat these whole foods when they're there, they're accessible, versus like if a bag of chips is more accessible and I'm tired in the middle of the day, I need a quick snack or something, I'm going to go for what's most convenient. I'm trying to make the more whole foods options accessible. Instead of eliminating any food groups, I'm going to prioritize low energy, high volume food groups like fruits and vegetables and get full off of protein, fruits, and veggies, and then enjoy these other more energy dense foods like ice cream or cake or brownies, those kinds of things. I'll enjoy them as a treat, but I won't enjoy them to get full off of them. Next, let's talk about general activity, and I really think this is actually one of the main causes of my fat gain after leaving college. In college, I was so active. I would walk back and forth to class, to campus. When I was on campus, I would walk to restaurants and coffee shops nearby, and I was just so active. Now, I sit at my desk. Most days I work from home and I don't move for 8 hours sometimes. So I recently got a standing desk, and also the weather is finally starting to warm up where I live. Winter is almost over. I love walking. I love walking around in my neighborhood, and I also love walking at the gym and listening to YouTube videos or podcasts or whatever. So my goal is to walk 7 miles a week. And that is pretty big because right now I'm probably walking maybe 1 or 2 miles a week. I'm not walking very much. So this is a pretty big goal, but I think it's totally doable. And my next goal is to just really utilize my standing desk. So I'm gonna set up reminders, standing reminders on my Apple Watch, and try to stand up at least 4 times a day. It's good for my back, my posture. It makes me feel really good. And it's something that's really easy to do while you're in meetings or something. But my main goal is just to, rather than tracking my food and reducing my food intake, I'm going to increase my energy expenditure from exercise by doing more dynamic movements, more cardio, and having more general activity like walking. Last, but certainly not least, actually maybe one of the most important things is sleep. So I'm really going to prioritize my sleep. And I'll be honest, it's something that I haven't prioritized a lot since I graduated. And the reason is I started like revenge scrolling at night. I will just like lay on my phone, even if I'm so exhausted, so tired, and I need the sleep and the rest, I will stay up and play on my phone because I want to like get some of that time back because I'm spending so much time working and cleaning and doing chores and all the like adult stuff that you have to do. My goal is to get into bed by 9 and get a full 8 hours, ideally 8 to 9 hours of sleep each night. I feel my best with 9 hours. It's usually not feasible. 8 is like the most realistic goal, but my bare minimum is 7 hours. So if I am not able to get 7 hours because of when I'm going to bed, then I am going to skip my workout the following day to prioritize getting those 7 hours in. This has been proven to help reduce cravings for energy dense food. Think things like cookies, brownies, pizza, that kind of stuff. It can also help increase your performance in workouts, and this will help me continue to feel good and energized and mentally clear even though I'm having an increase in energy expenditure. I am someone who has a pretty weak immune system, so I do tend to get sick. And if I do get sick, everything will go on pause. It will be like the challenge doesn't exist for those couple of days while I rest and recover. Recovering from being sick is so important. And I've noticed if I go back to the gym too soon, then all bets are off. I will get way sicker, feel way worse. So I'm going to prioritize getting better and not really worry about what I'm eating, how I'm exercising, anything like that while I am sick. Hopefully though, I don't get sick because it's spring. Let's talk about where I am right now, so before starting the challenge. From exercise, I am currently burning about 1900 calories per week. Apple Watches are not perfect at tracking calories burned, so the actual value doesn't matter here, but what does matter is that I will be increasing my energy expenditure through my activity and my workouts. My goal is to increase my energy expenditure by anywhere from 100 to 200 calories per day on average. Every day will be different depending on my schedule and whatnot, so that is my goal, and my baseline is 1900 calories, so I will be keeping a close eye on that. In terms of my nutrition, I have been all over the place. I've definitely been doing a better job of getting protein in the last few months compared to across my lifetime, but that is still not saying much. I'm pretty inconsistent with hitting my protein goal, and I have been eating a ton of takeout. I have been going out to eat constantly, and not only is that expensive, but I usually just not end up feeling my best. In terms of sleep, I'm really not getting a consistent 8 hours of sleep right now. I'm ranging anywhere from 6 to 8 on a good day, and it shows. After a couple days, I'll get so exhausted that I'll take like a 2 or 3 hour nap in the afternoon, like randomly after work, or I guess in the evening. I'm really excited to improve my sleep and be a little bit more consistent there. So yeah, I would love to hear from you if you're going to be doing this challenge with me. If you have absolutely any questions, leave a comment down below. If you have any video requests, let me know. I will continue to do other types of videos sprinkled in throughout this 90-day challenge, but I will be giving you frequent updates on my progress, how I'm feeling, how things are going, and what I've been learning as I go. I'm just so excited to start this journey and to go on it with you. I know that I wish that a couple of years ago I would have had an example of how to lose fat in a sustainable, healthy way. I followed so many horrible diets and I had some really bad experiences. So I hope anyone watching this can take inspiration from what I'm doing if they want to have an evidence-based, sustainable, healthy, mental health first approach to losing fat and hitting your goals, as well as just like some inspiration. I find these videos so motivational. So if you want to join me on this 90-day journey, make sure to subscribe. I will be giving you guys frequent updates. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting me. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I will see you next time.